Hey everyone, it's Katie from Create Your Future. I am a law of attraction coach, a certified life coach, and meditation teacher here. And today I have a success story for you that's all about how a client was able to manifest the brand new version of her specific person. She was able to finally get the version of her specific person that showed love, that showed affection, that was communicative. It was really the ideal version after years of getting an old version that she honestly couldn't stand anymore. She had created a version that was not treating her the best, that wasn't, her ideal. And so even though it had been years, and there had been frustration, there had been a lot of different techniques and manifesting, she was able to get her person just by this one thing. So let's talk about what that one thing is, so you can start to really live into it in your manifesting technique world, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. And maybe you've already been doing it, but this will be a nice reminder of how it works. So the technique that she used, it really was all about changing states. And if you've seen my videos before, you know that when I work with someone, I really focus heavily on inner conversation. So we focused on changing states and using the inner conversation to help with changing states. So let's talk about why that's important and why that worked for her. So I'm going to read from Neville, and then we're going to dive into a little bit more of the specifics about how you can apply this, how she applied it, and why it works. So Neville says, one of the first things man must realize is that it is impossible in dealing with the spiritual law of consciousness to put new wine into old bottles or new patches on old garments. That is, you cannot take any part of the present consciousness into the new state. For the state sought is complete in itself. It needs no patching. Every level of consciousness automatically expresses itself. Okay, so let's talk about what that means. So with this client, she has this desire to be with her specific person in a much different relationship that really includes a brand new version of the specific person and a brand new version of herself. So when she came to me currently, her current state of consciousness looked something like this. He's hot and cold. He criticizes me. He doesn't commit to anything. He doesn't say I love you. He doesn't show affection. There was just a kind of a list of things he wasn't doing. It was a state of consciousness of lack, right? In her state of consciousness, her self-concept in that state of consciousness is I put in all this effort, nothing happens, I show all the affection, I'm fully committed, but it's just not there. Like, I'm constantly let down. I'm constantly disappointed. So that was her current state of consciousness of, lack, that he's not fully coming forward. He's not fully committed. She doesn't get what she wants. And we're in this kind of miserable entanglement. Okay. So what we had to start working with was there is another state of consciousness. There's infinite states, right? And they're all whole, they're all complete, as Neville says. And there's a state of consciousness where you two are in a happy, healthy, loving, long-standing relationship. Okay? There's already this reality, this world. I like to envision it like there's this world where your specific person loves you, tells you he loves you every day, kisses you every day. He's put a ring on that finger. He's totally committed. He's so proud of you. It's just, you are the first thing on his mind. You are his priority. That version of him exists because every version of him exists. And that version of him goes with this version of you that's happy, right? That's, expects that she always gets what she wants. That has these positive assumptions, right? That, her person loves her. Her person loves showing her affection. She loves receiving that affection. There's this very cohesive world between the two of you where you just share love and affection. And so to get into that world, we have to change our state. And like Neville says, we can't bring anything from our old state into our new state. And this I actually find is probably one of the most challenging parts of manifesting, even though Neville literally says it doesn't have to be that difficult. It doesn't have to be. And you're going to find that when you're in this manifesting process, your state is what's changing because it's you. You're the creator. You're the one doing this, okay? And so what's going to happen is the purification of the mind, where old versions of you are going to come up. Old versions of your specific person are come up. Like, it's in those moments, because everything's in the now, that you want to transform those negative thoughts, those negative versions of you, into positive ones, right? We're allowing this transformation. So you're going from the old state of consciousness into the new one, because nothing from the old consciousness can come into the new one. So you're going to find a lot of different old assumptions coming up. You're going to find a lot of different old perspectives. So when we were working together, you know, her and I would work together, and we'd get really focused on this new version of her specific person, her new version of her. We would do inner conversations based on this, where he's saying, you know, babe, I love you. I'm so happy we're together. She's saying, I love how you show me love every day. I love our new relationship. Like, I'm so happy. And then she'd go back into her 3D world. She'd leave our coaching sessions, go back into the 3D world, and she would get the complete opposite from him. Okay. And this is where it matters most. It's really in between these coaching sessions that you have this moment to recognize, okay, this is just an old version. This is just an old state. This is actually my opportunity to change my assumption about them, to change my assumption about myself. I'm not a victim. I'm not treated poorly, right? I'm loved. I saw this new world. I did the inner conversations. I know what this new relationship is like. Can I commit to it? Because remember, the 3D world is just a projection of your old thoughts, your old assumptions. And so Neville talks about, it's like, we see the new face in the mirror. We see the new reality. But when you walk away from the mirror, do you remember who you are, or do you forget your face? And so the challenge really is that when she would walk away from those coaching sessions and she was met with the old version, did she react? Did she go back to the old state of consciousness? Or this is another Neville, he talks about Jesus saying, you know, you close the door to the senses and you go within to the Father, to your state of being, and you become one with that new state of consciousness. And so in those moments, that's where I use the technique of having your inner conversation with your specific person, where you could be getting the worst of your old person, and you on the inside have your specific person being like, hey, I love you. This is working out. Everything's okay. This is part of the purification. Like, we want to assume not only is it done, but everything that's happening is bringing you to your desired end. Right? This is just an old version. There's no need to react. Just send them love. Don't let anything move you. Right? Neville talks about being unmovable. Commit to the new version. Commit to the new state of consciousness and be unmovable until everything conforms, because everything will conform. And so this is where that perseverance comes in, that persistence comes in, the repetition of inner conversations or affirmations, whatever your thing is, right? Of course, being on your mental diet, but commit to the new state of consciousness, and then everything has to conform. Right? Neville says, I believe he's quoting the Bible, of like, I will draw men, or what is it? I wrote it down. I will draw all men unto me. And the way I look at that is, once we change our state of consciousness, once we go into this new reality where we have everything, where we have the loving partner, we are loved, we are adored, we know it's done, then everyone, because they're all alive inside of you, will conform to that new reality as well. You do not have to lift a finger. If 1,000 men have to move, they will move, because they're moving with every inner conversation. They're moving with every state you're going into. I mean, you're going through thousands of states a day, but with purposefully manifesting, with consciously manifesting, we're just focusing in on the one that we really want, right? And we're staying true to it. We're committing to it. So even when old states try to tempt us back out, or Neville talks about, you know, that our senses can hypnotize us. The 3D world tries to pull you back out. It's in those moments that you just want to commit to the new state. Be unmovable. And so what happened with this client is, she was greeted with the old version of the specific person. But now at this point, her knowing and desire to know that her I am, her awareness of being is greater than anything else. And that's what's creating. Once she committed to the new state of being of like, no, I'm loved, I'm adored. I'm the version of me that has the man of my dreams. And whenever she saw the old man, as Neville would call it, the old version, she was unmoved because she committed to that. It just fades out. Like Neville says, you let the dead bury the dead. But it's such a commitment to your inner world. And really the techniques, if you will, that I use for this are, of course, inner conversation. So personally, I'm always having inner conversation with my person or with other people I know I'm going to be dealing with throughout the day. Right? Where I just remind myself, like, they're just my consciousness pushed out. That's all they are. In like a most loving, like validating way. They're beings of light that are here to love me. They're for me. Everything is for me. And I'm having loving inner conversations with them. Right before we talk, right after we talk. So sometimes it's right before, so I'm just having positive assumption, positive expectation it's going to go well. Sometimes I have to revise on the spot, and that's what she was doing. She would revise on the spot when she got the old version. She would just stay within. This is all about staying within. And then, of course, meditation. Meditation is such a profound way of just totally immersing yourself into that state of consciousness where it's all done. Because remember, we're not trying to like pull from the 3D and make stuff happen. We're not trying to manipulate the 3D. It's like, let's just go right into that world where it's already done. Let's imagine what that's like. Let's have conversations from that place. And meditation is such I already said it, it's a profound way of doing that and getting used to that state. So in these sessions, when I'm doing meditations with people, it's like we drop the 3D, we just drop it, let it all go. And we go right into the desired end where your person is just there for you. They're loving you. They're telling you the sweetest things, and then you're replying. And when you close the door to the senses like that, and you go within, and you enter that state until you become one with it, it becomes dominant. It has to get pushed out. Everything will conform because your inner world creates your outer world. So it's all these techniques come together, but it's all you just going into a new state. That's all it ever is. So we're just purposely going into the dominant state that we wish to live. That's it. So whatever technique gets you there, and that's perfect. You can honor whatever that is for you. But what I suggest, what's worked for me, what works for my clients, is doing the inner conversations, right? Doing meditation, so visualize to go there. And then, of course, a mental diet. Of course, you're just watching your thoughts throughout the day, because throughout the day, you will be doing the purification of the mind. When you're on the bridge of events, right? Old thoughts from old states are going to come up, and in that moment, revise. In that moment, change them to what you want them to be. So whether they're happening within in terms of negative thoughts or 3D stuff's happening, you just revise on the spot. And you just see everything is moving you forward because it is. So if you want more help with the meditation, we're going to be doing a meditation this upcoming Wednesday. That's going to be putting you into the state where your specific person loves you, adores you, gives you more attention and communication. Where they need you and prioritize you. It's kind of going off of last week's workshop. Where now we're just going to go into the state and meditate on the state where they just adore you and worship you. And they just give you so much more attention, so much more affection, so much more prioritization. And then, of course, you're going to meditate on the version of you that receives that. And we always do some inner conversations in the meditation. So if that's of interest to you, check out the link below. Be sure to come to the live meditation. If you can't make it to the live one, then be sure to check out the website like a week after, and it'll be up there. Okay? But the big takeaway for today is that all you have to do is change your state. But nothing from the old state can come with you. And so it's natural to purify the mind. It's natural to change these thoughts on the spot. It's natural to see old versions come up, old versions of you come up, and then you just change it. You're just moving states. Every thought is getting you closer to the new state. Close the door to the senses, become one with the new state, and so it shall be. So remember, there's a version of you where you're loved, you're adored, you're cherished. There's a version of your specific person that's loving you, that's cherishing you, that's adoring you. It exists right now. It's already done. It's already complete. All we're doing is meditating and claiming the inner conversations that match up with that reality. And then it must be. So ask yourself today, okay, in this state of consciousness, where I'm loved, I'm adored, I'm cherished, what thoughts would I be having? What inner conversations would I be having? What do they feel? What do they think? What do they say to me? And have fun exploring what that sounds like. So I'll give you a quick example. So an example would be, I would love hearing my specific person who's alive inside of you. So it's real right now. So you always want to remind yourself, like, well, as I do this, I'm impressing my subconscious. I'm going into this reality. As I focus on it, it's becoming more and more real. I'm becoming one with it. It's powerful. And so I would go into my reality where I'm loved, adored, and my specific person is the version I want. And I would feel them inside me. And I would feel them say to me, hear them say to me, I love you. You are the one for me. I love treating you so well. I love taking you out. I love giving you gifts. I love cherishing you. I love knowing you're the one for me. I love waking up with you every single day. I love how committed I am to you. I love our relationship. This is the best relationship I've ever had. And then you want to respond. And you respond from the end. You respond from the version of you that's been seeing this for months or years, whatever you want it to be. I feel so loved. I feel so cherished. I feel so adored. I love how you show me every single day how special I am to you. I love how you're always holding my hand. You're always kissing my cheek. You're always telling me you love me. You love reassuring me. You love spoiling me. You love just showing the world that I'm yours. And I feel so adored. I feel so cherished. And yes, this is the best relationship of my life. This is what I've been dreaming of. And it's here. It's really here. And then you would just go on and on into different conversations that affirms that state of consciousness. And as you're doing these inner conversations, you are living in the end. You are becoming one with that state of consciousness. You're upgrading your self-concept to who you really want to be. You're upgrading your specific person to the version of them that they want to be. Love and light, right? It's just like there's so much beauty in this new world where you're, bringing heaven down onto earth. Molding the world into a kingdom of love, like Neville says. So all you have to do is change your state of consciousness. You're doing it all the time anyway. We're just doing it on purpose into the one that you want, because it's already done. It's already here. It is a promise. All you have to do is change your consciousness and it'll be expressed. So I intend that was helpful. If you want more support, be sure to check out the links below. We can do a one-on-one session together. If you want to master your inner world, master inner conversations, then I suggest my courses. There's the 7-day challenge that's going to have you meditate 3 times a day. It's going to help you really master the inner world and changing states on purpose. There's my inner conversation course if you want to get really good at inner conversations. And then there's tons of workshops and meditations on the site as well if you want to really meditate on different states. Or if you need help revising, if you've been in a longer relationship with a lot of ups and downs or just having a lot of limiting beliefs, check out my workshops. Those are all about revising and will help you clear up those blocks and go into these states where you are unlimited, are abundant, and you're in love. Okay, I intend that was helpful. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. See you all in the next one.